Welcome to the Reno Victor YouTube channel. I just want to say, first and foremost, to everyone watching, we appreciate everyone who's been supporting the journey because, as I've been saying in these videos, man, coming to Atlanta, initially, it was a rough start. But I'll tell you this, what beats currency is community. And when I came here, I joined the Next Level Speakers Academy, and I met some amazing people who've poured into me, who've been a huge influence. And I have to introduce you to somebody who's amazing. His name is James Williams. First of all, James, would you introduce yourself to the podcast? Speak right there to the people and let them know who you are.
So I am James Williams, the owner and founder of Lion Progression LLC, where we help good people with bad credit qualify for things that they was previously denied for. And we help business owners get access to capital so they can grow and scale their brands. I am an individual who has been through a lot of life situations, and everything that I do now has a lot more purpose than what it used to.
I remember we first connected, we started telling our stories. And honestly, guys, I feel like we have very similar stories. You know, when you think about overcoming adversity in particular, I think a lot of people, they've been through stuff. And when I hear your story, bro, I'm always like, man, you know, I can learn something from this guy. And so I remember when we first connected, I was actually taking pictures at an event. Actually, I wasn't taking pictures. I had my crew there. It was 3 of us, and we were recording sessions for these speakers at this Next Level Speakers meetup. And James was there. He was documenting footage, but I didn't realize that he was actually more than just a videographer. He started talking about credit. He had this camera equipment where I'm like, bro, like, what is all this? It's talking about credit and breaking it down. And I quickly realized that, man, James is a financial guru. All right. And so, James, before we talk about the subject for today, getting 1% better every day, I want to actually hear about your story. How does a guy who's at an event, who's a master at credit in this speaking program, like, how do you go from you killing it in Atlanta, you're successful, like, talk about the beginning of how you started your whole journey.
When you say starting a hard journey, like, that's a lot of stuff. Which part do you want me to start from?
Okay, let's give like a quick synopsis of young James. Who was James before he even came to Atlanta? Where are you from?
Oh, man, from Detroit, man. The What Up Doe capital.
Hey, what up, though? That's real, though.
The What Up Doe capital. So young James, man, he was an interesting character, to be honest with you. So I was that one kid that was like in the midst of the hood, still did all the hood stuff, stole cars, sold drugs, all the stuff like that. But also I was like the outlier because I also was really a nerd for real. I was a nerd, but also I hung out with the hood dudes. But, you know, it was kind of like a mixture of things. It was kind of a strange combination. I was the weird kid that everybody knew, but nobody actually knew. And by that, I mean, like, everybody knew who James was, but didn't nobody know James intimately.
Wow.
And that led me to a lot of different, like, situations of me feeling like, you know, I was a loner, different things like that. But I was able to navigate in just about any space. That was the thing that I loved about it. I could hang out with the homies. That was the homies. I could hang out with the nerds. That was the nerds. I could even hang out with the girls because I got like 5 sisters. So it's like I could hang around. I could fit into any crowd, but I never had like an actual crew of people that just roll with me. I always been like a solo agent. So being that solo agent, it led me down a lot of different paths of like, all right, cool, let me explore things. It gave me a lot of time to think because there wasn't a lot of people influencing my thoughts. So the thing that I had to do more than anything else was just influence myself. I had to learn from books. I had to read a lot of things. So it got to a point where I was going through a situation where I was teeter-tottering between, was I going to be the villain or the hero? And it might sound crazy, but I really was in my head thinking at like 14, even younger than 14, I was like, at 16 years old, I'm going to die. Don't know how, but it's going to be out here the way my life was going. At 16, I'm out of here. I didn't know if I was going to get shot. I didn't know if I was going to get stabbed up. I didn't know what was going to happen necessarily, but I knew at 16 is wraps for me. So I had to pick, like, was I going to be the hero at this time or was I going to be a villain? Was I going to be like a drug lord or was I going to try to do things the right way? But I'm like, man, if I'm going to be out here at 16, I might as well just keep doing the dumb stuff. Just being real. Like, I might as well steal some cars, have some fun, different things like that. And all that eventually transitioned one night when my cousin had ran up to me. Well, I'll tell you this. So I want to keep it brief, but this is the thing that changed James from being more hood to good. It was one night, me and my cousin that was out there, we was about to go do a drug deal. And I'm walking up the street, and I got like a sawed-off shotgun tucked inside of my pants. And I'm walking up the street, me and one of my other cousins. We were around the same age. We was finna go do some dumb stuff, and we hear some footsteps running behind us. I hear it, but I heard it a while ago. I'm sitting like, "Hey, yo, like you hear that?" He's like, "Yeah." So I pulled a gun from out of there, and I'm walking with it, and it's tucked, right? And do you know what a sawed-off shotgun is?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
So I'm
But for those who don't know, break it down just a little bit, and then you can jump back into it.
Shotgun with a short barrel, you saw off the front of it. It's super simple. That way you keep the power, but you can carry it around with you, so you don't have to have something that's super big. Yeah. So I pull the thing out, and I turn. And the moment I'm finna get ready to squeeze the trigger, because I don't know who it is, but I'm like, man, it must be one of the enemies. I turn around, and it's my younger cousin.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's my younger cousin. He followed us behind the house, and he was like, yeah, man, I just wanted to come with y'all. And I'm like, bro, like, nah, you can't come on this mission with us. And he like, well, I just want to let you know that I look up to you and I love you. And he ran back to the crib. And I talked to my other cousin. I'm like, bro, like, we can't keep doing this. We got to do something different. And that was the start of me changing everything, because I was teetering-tottering between being a villain and a hero. And that's when I made the shift of like, all right, nah, bro, like if my little cousin gonna say, look up to me, I got to find something for him to look up to. And the whole idea of me dying at like 16, 17 years old came because the one cousin in my family that I looked up to, he died at 17. He never got to see 18 years old. He was in the streets. So I followed suit behind him, to be honest with you. So I'm like, man, if he didn't live past like 17, why would I think that I could do it? And that one experience, like, man, I only got a couple more years to. In my head, I'm thinking I only got a couple more years to live. Let me make it impactful. And that was the shift.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm glad you shared that context, because that's actually in the alignment of the theme of the book that I'm actually writing. September 19th, here in Atlanta, Georgia, we're going to be dropping a book. Guess what it's called? You look on the screen, look at my shirt. It's called Get 1% Better Every Day. And I share about how I started, like literally, like I started my questioning journey asking myself that question, because how could I get 1% better every day? Now I'm listening to you, and you said something very important that I also say. There's things that happen in people's lives where same story, same situation, two people, one can decide to be a villain, the other one can decide to be a hero, and then from there it's their decision if they're going to incrementally become 1% that or the other. And so I think when I hear that 1% hero, it's like, man, James, like, yo, you were doing bad thing. You were in the hood. That was you're a product of your environment. But like I write in the book, man, the first thing you have to do is you have to figure out, how can I add value to myself? That's the first principle in the book. And from there, how can I do that incrementally? And it sounds like along the way, you just mentioned it. You were in the hood. You were doing these things. You see, realizing that first and foremost, not only can I add value to myself, but you think about your little cousin. He's watching you. So if James gets better, you know that your audience will inherently grow because of you. So how does that make you feel, that idea of, in the book that I talk about, it's dropping September 19th, book release party coming up. How does that make you feel, the idea of like adding value first to yourself and then to your community? Like, how do you feel about that idea?
Honestly, bro, I thought, as I told you, I thought my life was going to be over at 16. So everything I did was for a long time was for other people. Even though I did it for me, I did it for them, because I said, I'm making myself better for you. Because I noticed that I had influence. And I don't think people realize, whether you want the influence or not, sometimes the actions that you do come with it. And once you have the influence, what you going to do with it? Just like once you got attention, what you going to do with it? I mean, think about it in the dating world, bro. Like if you dating a woman or something like that, let's say you got some top tier woman, or even for the women, if you got a top tier man, you got the attention. What you going to do with it? So you got the influence. What you going to do with it? It all goes back to a time that I had in college with this organization known as Leadership. And it's about shaping leaders. And I still had this, it's a pebble that I keep in my wallet at all times, because once you graduate from Leadership, because a lot of different like Greek organizations go there and such. So once you graduate from Leadership, they give you this blue pebble every time. And they said the blue pebble represents, like, if you was to throw it into the water and it creates ripples, your leadership creates ripples within people, right? Throughout the world. What are you going to do with this pebble? Because once it goes into the water, It can make these ripples, but those ripples can turn to waves. And that's your influence. So what are you going to do with the influence that you have available to you? And that's what I was thinking about a lot of the times, man, when everything that happened with my cousin and a bunch of situations happened after that. Once I went to college, it was some of the homies, like the little homies from the high school that I went to. They went to the same college as me, and they didn't believe that they can go to college until they saw me went, and they followed suit. And I was like, dang, like, that's crazy. I guess I got more influence than I thought because, like I said, I was the person that could hang out with the hood dudes, but I also hung out with the nerds. I hung out with everybody. But most of the time, I just rock solo. I just want to get my money, and I want to stay out of the way. That was it. That was always me. And that created a massive influence because, like I said, everybody knew James. I didn't know that I had influence, though. I'm just like, oh, people know me. People rock with me. I'm going to get my money. I'm going to go home, chilling. That was it. But you never know, man. That's real. That ripple effect that you can create with the influence that you have, you just got to realize that you have it.
That's powerful, man. That's really powerful. As I hear you say, it was called leadership.
Leadership.
That's powerful. And I think it's so fitting. Like, you think about you being first generation college student, I'm assuming. Mm-hmm. And then you got kids looking up to you, then making the same decision because of that. So shout out to you, man. That's powerful. And so we're stopping at college, still answering the question. Really, from there, you're getting better. Like, so, okay, I'm in college, James. And then this is probably somebody who is thinking about going to college, maybe you're a young person. What did you even study when you were in college? Like what was your, why did you want to go to, obviously you just said why, but like, why did you want to study what you wanted to study when you as well?
I can be honest.
Yeah.
I ain't give about college. I didn't care, bro.
You just needed to leave.
So this was the thing. I was homeless from 14 to the time I went to college. I only went to college because they had a bed. They had heat, they had Wi-Fi. I didn't care about none of that other stuff, man. I didn't care about no major. I didn't care about none of that, bro. I wanted to get out of the streets. That was it. So when I went there, I ended up going to school, and I started off going to school for business management. And that's because I sold candy and stuff like that in high school, on top of other things. But like, I did sell candy towards like the end of just my career, and I was like making decent money. I bought my first car 15 off selling candy in high school. And I slept in that car because I'm like, well, I don't got nowhere else to go. It was a blue 2003 Chevy Trailblazer. Never forget it. The cold nights in there, every time it broke down, all the stuff I hit because I was driving with no license. I didn't know how to drive. Nobody taught me how to drive. So I bought the car to teach myself because I kept on asking people, will you teach me how to drive? And people kept on saying, no, you don't know how to drive. We don't trust you with the car. So what I did was I said, I'm going to get my own money, and I bought my own car, and I taught myself.
That's crazy. Homeless at 14, teaching yourself how to drive. Going to college saying, that's so real, man. Look, I remember being like younger in high school, and my parents, they'd be traveling for work as well. My dad, he didn't live with me in the house, but my mom she'd be working a lot. And I remember we go to school, and I'd be like banking on the school lunch. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I was a high performing student, but you know, people didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it wasn't food at the house. And so what you're saying is, some people go to school, they go to college or wherever they're going to, right? And they kind of have this mindset like, yo, I'm gonna study this and do that. You just trying to survive, bro. You saw they got a bed, Wi-Fi. And so I want you to speak on that, because I think there are people who are making those transitions. They're leaving their toxic environment, where they're coming from. You feel like you didn't have any resources. I mean, I'm just seeing this picture. This kid asking for help how to drive. He can buy the car. Like, talk about like not getting like any help, and why it's important for us, like, who are in those situations. Your first generation business owner, your first generation, you in that major. Why is it important in those environments to get 1% better every single day? Because that's a whole lot like that you're going through. Like, and I'm sure somebody else can resonate. Like, dang, but what were you thinking? That's really what I'm asking. Like,
bro, it just wasn't no options. It just that's it. Like, I ain't waiting for nobody to come and save me. Like, I realized that at a young age. Like, bro, ain't nobody gonna come and save you. You gotta do this on your own. But I will say that has hindered me later in life. Where I had valuable connections, but I didn't use them or reach out to them because I was so used to doing things on my own. So it was a benefit when I was younger because I needed to learn certain things for my own. But then it made me like hyper independent. And I think hyper independency is not a good thing. I think interdependence is, because we put independence on such a high pedestal, and I think it's crazy because it's like we all need somebody. Even if you by yourself, you're typically probably working at a job and you need your boss to pay you. Even if you are a business owner, you typically need employees to manage the scale, or you need customers in order to give you money. Nobody is really independent. It's interdependence. How can we depend on each other but still be able to survive on our own, right? And I don't think a lot of people really focus on that. But during the time frame of me getting older, I was happy that happened, because I tell people all the time that I was fortunate enough to live an unfortunate life. I was fortunate enough to live an unfortunate life, because if it wasn't for these things that happened to me, I wouldn't have the mindset that I have. I wouldn't have found out about the Tony Robbins, the Les Browns, the Eric Thomases. I had to keep myself motivated. So when you ask, how do I get 1% better every single day? The first thing I did every day when I woke up is I rolled out of my bed. Like literally, I had a bed that was like up front. This is like during college days. Boom, roll over, get on the floor. I mean, even when I was sleeping out of the car, I do push-ups in the street. I roll over, do push-ups, and I turn on like a motivational video every single day without missing a day for years in a row. I do that to this day. I wake up in the morning, and the first thing I do, I turn off the alarm clock, and boom, I turn on like a motivational video or something like that on YouTube. I just needed something, because I'm like, before the rest of the world started attacking me throughout the day, let me make my mental strong. And then I just kept going from there.
And that's exactly where we were aligned, because we started talking about books, and then he started dropping book names. And I could tell, oh man, this dude listens to audio. And I know that because that's what I do. First thing I do, wake up, I'll either do push-ups, I'm doing burpees in my room. And even when I was homeless, bro, like I was doing that because I said, bro, look, I need a place to stay. I was staying at a friend's house, and I'm getting up early in the morning doing push-ups in their living room. I'm walking around their house, walking 10,000 steps a day, because I told myself, I can't expect anybody to invest in me until I invest in myself. And if we're homeless, you broke, you struggling going through it, you may be that kid in that college dorm. You don't even know why you're going to school. You just there because you don't want to go backwards. And that's the whole idea of getting 1% better, Jen. I'm glad you shared that, because, as I said, that was my story in a different way, right? Being a photographer, but you're a credit guy now. Like, okay, so you studied business administration, right? Wait. But when you were coming out, like, talk about the credit. How do we get to credit? Like, that seems like a journey all by itself. But give us like baby steps in general of how you got there. Yeah.
But here's what happened. I went for business administration because everybody always say, "Oh, you'll be a good businessman." But I realized very quickly that school don't really teach you that much about business. Marketing, probably, yeah. Marketing, they probably do you some good. But business, I'm like, you better off just going out there and just doing it, because they're gonna teach you how. I was the head of the entrepreneurship club. I was like the president. And I noticed that they kept on preaching, just giving people jobs. And I'm like, I thought the point of this was to start up our own thing. Like, why are we not innovating and starting things in college right now? So I stepped down. I didn't want to do it no more, because I'm like, this seemed counterproductive to the reason that I got into it. So I started off as a business major. And after I left from being a business major, I ended up switching my major to computer engineering, because I'm like, oh, I like this coding stuff, building robots and stuff like that. So I got real good with computers. And then after that, I found out about leadership. And then so I ended up minoring in leadership. And because the leadership thing, I was like, oh man, this is fascinating. Like understanding how people think and like how you have to lead people. And there's different people have different styles of communication. And then I found out about communication. So my ending major ended up being communication with a minor in leadership. And that's where everything started to transition. And when I started to transition right before I actually got ready to get out of school. Okay. I'm gonna try to make this quick, because this is a pet peeve of mine. I really can't stand this. I was getting ready to graduate, right? And I figured if I take all my major classes, I can graduate from school.
Yep.
No, they said, no, you got to take these gen eds. And I'm like, wait a minute. So I came here to study this specific thing. I studied the specific thing, and you tell me I can't graduate because I got to take these general education classes. I'll say, okay, cool. So I go to a community college over the summer. I knock out the gen ed classes because I want to get it cheaper. I do that. I come back. I'm like, all right, cool. Can I graduate? They said no because your last credits was not from this university. I said, okay, cool. So I started doing those credits and stuff like that. And then I do my last couple of credits, and they said, okay, cool. Can I graduate? They say no. And I'm like, well, okay, well, now why not? They said, because you don't have enough credits to graduate. And I'm like, so now y'all just want me to spend extra money? Like, so what class do I have to take? They say, it's just electives. I'm like, so just something that I just randomly select? And they say, yes. And I'm like, okay, well, that's stupid too. I go and do that, and I'm like, okay, cool. So can I graduate? They say no, because you have to apply for it. I'm like, okay, bro. And apparently it costs money. It costs money to apply to graduate. I'm like, so what was all the other fees when I was looking at the tuition bill? Like, what was I paying for the whole time? That's real, bro. So, I got into all that stuff just pretty much to say that I ended up dropping out the first time before I actually graduated. Because I got fed up. I'm like, bro, every time y'all tell me that I'm about to graduate, or I fulfill the requirement that y'all ask of me, it's something else. I'm like, nah, I'm done.
You've got the skills to go pay the bills. It's just now I'm stuck in this system. It's like, no, it's real.
It was stupid. But so I ended up dropping out, and I started a business drop shipping, and drop shipping was making a killing. So I didn't plan on going back.
What year is that, by the way?
This was like 2018. So not everybody knew about drop shipping yet. I paid like $5,000 for a course. Got some suppliers and stuff like that. We going crazy. I'm like, oh, we living good. We busting. I'm like, yeah, we up now. So what ended up happening is I started going through this process, and as I'm going through the process, I'm making a decent amount of money. I got the suppliers that I'm working with, different things like that. And what ended up happening is 2 years later, COVID, all my suppliers shut down. Wow. And I was young, I had money, a little stupid. So I was going around the world traveling. I mean, I also got into day trading at that time too. So I'm in there, I'm traveling, I'm talking to a bunch of girls. At this time, I'm still drinking. I don't drink no more. I stopped smoking a long time ago. So I'm like, oh yeah, we living life. Like, this is never going to end. Like, this is going to be great forever. Nah, lost everything. So I had to start all the way back over, and I had to get into some new endeavors. But by me losing everything, I had to max out all my credit cards.
Yeah. I know that one. I already told y'all about that one.
So yeah, maxing out all my credit cards. A lot of things went to collections. Had a car get repoed, man, all that stuff. So I started off with my credit being bad, and it was just from a previous endeavor. So I embark on this journey to be like, oh, okay, cool. So you actually, at first I didn't care. I'm like, oh, okay, these people just calling me. I'm like, oh, this is the worst that happens? All right, cool. I can deal with that. I'm just gonna hang up. Like, exactly. Like, this is nothing. But then later on, I found out, like, oh, I tried to apply to another place. Oh, your credit score is too low. I'm like, oh, that's the repercussion. So I need credit to get a house. So credit affects my insurance rates. Oh, wait, so credit determines what jobs I can get. I'm like, okay, we got to work on this. So I started off working for another company, and just like referring people to that company to actually get their credit fixed. And I started seeing how much money they was coming in, and the little bits and pieces that I was getting. I'm like, I can figure this out. Like, cause y'all making too much bread off me. Like, I know I could touch some of this money for real. So, I get in the business of touching some of that money. And what ended up happening is I started my own stuff up. So I started paying for all these different courses. I run into people on the internet. I start studying the people, and I'm like, because I'm thinking people will scam. I ain't gonna lie. I'm researching in the middle of the night. Like, hold on, wait a minute. Who is this person? What do you do? How'd you figure this out? Yeah. And then it started building from there. And as it was building, what I ended up doing was capitalizing off of that. Yeah, I capitalized off of that and started building my own empire. But I started off with fixing my own credit, then family members' credit, and then went on from there.
Man, bro, look, that's a powerful story, man. Because I think the best services we can create are services that we needed, or for the avatars that were just like us at that point. Like I told you, man, earlier, like when I moved to Atlanta, and this is part of entrepreneurship, I was in a location, an environment. I was actually living in Kentucky at the time, where I wasn't making enough money doing media and marketing and speaking. So I needed to move to a bigger market. Ironically, in this spot where you don't got no cash, you just got credit cards. So we got to run the credit cards. You got to move. And I was stuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk. But I love your story because you give people hope. that you may have messed up, you may have been through a bunch of stuff, or you just may have a bunch of bad things have happened to you, but that's not where your story has to end. It goes back to this thing, get 1% better every day. You're still listening to books as all this is happening to you during the pandemic, right? Mm-hmm. You're still motivating yourself. Like, he made money, then lost it again. And that's actually, I think that's actually harder because you don't touch the bread, bro. Like,
hey, yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie to you. That was probably the hardest part. It's like, the thing is, it made me mentally unemployable. Every job I went to thereafter, I was like, oh man. So I'm sitting there thinking like, man, I made one sale on a camera that I didn't own, sold it for like $600. It cost me like $300. I made $300 profit, and I was sitting at the crib playing Call of Duty. Now y'all want me to sit here for 8 hours, and I'm making less than $200 for the whole day? I'm like, nah, bruh. But sometimes I'm like, well, I got to do what I got to do for the time being, because I'm like, it was a time where I was working like 4 jobs at the same time. I'm like, boom, get off one job, go to the next job. And the only time I slept was like when I took breaks inside of the car. I ate on the job. I ate on the clock. And when I had the breaks is when I just go in the car and take a nap.
Wow. You know, some people don't like to work that hard, man. But I think desperate time cover desperate measures, man. So first of all, again, I just want to say your story is super inspiring. And for me, as someone who, like I said, I maxed out my credit cards to get here, you inspire me that there is hope. As long as I'm willing to put in the work, though, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to help me. And as long as I practice my own message, right? Get 1% better. Because I think some people, they like overlook the hard work. And I don't know if you know this, but I actually grew up working on a farm. I was a farm worker when I was a little kid, from 8 to 18 years old. Literally, we were out there in the heat, cleaning cow poop. So I think even right now, I'm like, I don't mind if somebody right now said, hey, look, we need you to do this, getting dirty. Like, do what you gotta do. Like, if for some of you guys know who parents ain't supporting you at all, like, you need this. Like, it sucks to say this to you, but you gotta get dirty sometimes. That means you might have to pick up doing some job you don't like, man, just to get out the situation you in. Because sometimes in business, I know this for sure, sometimes you have a low sales cycle, or sometimes you hit a big lick, and you sell a whole bunch of stuff, and then the phone don't be ringing. So you got to do what you got to do to make sure that you're able to stay on top of your stuff. But last but not least, man, I want to also speak to everybody who may be in a situation right now. I want you to give them advice for what it means to get 1% better. We talked about reading books. We talked about exercising. We talked about getting better. But like, I want you to speak to also to what they should be saying to themselves, because I believe this: the quality of your questions will determine the quality of your life. And so if Reno says to himself every day, if James is saying to himself every day, what am I doing to get 1% better? It's going to make you move in a certain way. What are some of the things you said to yourself? I want you to speak to self-talk right now. What should they be saying to themselves as they're going through their own struggles right now?
What are you going to do about it? That's going to be the biggest thing. Because, so outside, I was a bit extreme, but it helped out. I wasn't just one of those, I'm finna read the books and things like that. Like, yes, you got to put action in, man. So what I did was I even wrote on my mirrors every single day. Like, I used to write quotes on my mirror. So when I wake up, I didn't see my face. I saw the quotes. And it say things on there like, your life is 10% what happens to you, 90% how you react to it. I used to write WIT on my hand, on the back of it in marker. Like, whatever it takes.
I love that, bro.
I used to write that on the back of my hands when I woke up in the morning. And then I just let it fade away as the day went on. But I was extreme. It's like inside of my house, I could show you old pictures of it. I went to the library, printed off a bunch of pictures, jets. And you know what's crazy? Dang.
That's the power of visualization, though.
Yeah, and I just was on a private jet like maybe a month or two ago.
What?
Yeah. So I just realized that I had yachts on my stuff. And I just was on a yacht, and I was just on a jet like 2 months ago. So I'm sitting there thinking like, dang, that's crazy. That's crazy. But like, I put it on my walls. I put it on my refrigerators. I had a game plan on how much money I needed to make, and I taped it to my steering wheel to my car. Like, and this is the stuff that people don't see. Like, I was like an extremist. Like, I cannot stay here. I refuse to be average. The average is the enemy. Average is the enemy. And now this is very unpopular belief, but people talk about like balance. I don't believe in balance.
I could tell, man. That's good though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that sounds like excessive to a lot of people though.
Yeah, it does.
But desperate times.
Yeah. So I'm like,
hey,
It was times where people would be like, oh yeah, but what about what about your mental health and self care? I'm like, self care is the reason y'all still broke. Like y'all self care too much. Like you talking about like, yeah, you need to sit down and watch some TV. When you gonna do that? When do I have time to do that? TV ain't never made me no money.
That's actually true.
TV ain't never made me no money. Why would I be sitting there watching other people live their lives? That's the reason I don't watch sports. Sitting there and watch other people live their lives, and that's supposed to be enjoyment to me while I struggle with mines. Nah, I'm finna sit there and watch you make $100,000 tonight, playing basketball or something like that. And I'm finna go back to the crib and talk about how I'm still struggling with rent. That's stupid.
A lot of people like that.
No offense to the people that's doing it, but for me, I'm just like, no, I got other priorities, man. I got things I need to accomplish. But the things you need to be telling yourself every single day is, one, how you going to change your environment. Your environment is going to be a big key factor of everything, because I figured if I wanted to change my environment, the first thing I did was putting the pictures and stuff like that around the room. I figured, and it's not just your physical environment, definitely, but also your mental environment. What are you watching? What are you intaking? It's your diet, right? So your diet isn't just what you eat. It's what you watch. It's what you listen to. All the things that go into your mind is included inside of your diet. And it's like, how are you going to make yourself better doing that? The 1% better that you're speaking of, it's like, it's the mental, it's the financial, it's the emotional. Like, you do still have to figure out your emotions, even though I'm not a person that's big on balance, but you have to know when is something going to take priority. There can only be one most important thing at a time. Like, yes, family is important. Yes, finances is important. Yes, health is important. But at any given time, there's only one most important thing. That makes sense. And you got to figure out what that is for you every single day.
Man, James, you said a whole lot there. One of the things that I actually do as well, I believe that in order to become a victor and not a victim of your life, you have to train your reticular activating system. I know you know this because you've read all these books. What he's talking about is a very powerful technique. They call this, basically, you are resetting your subconscious mind to focus on things that you can become more successful in life. And I want to just show you a practical example. So on my screen, first thing I see when I wake up is there's actually a quote, the Serenity Prayer. Now it says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to, I see this every day. Every day. Also, too, inside my screen is another screen with my vision board. I look at my vision board every day, right? There's an image of a dude with a camera. I see a beautiful house. I see a handsome black guy, camera equipment, nice car. I see a beach. You have to do this. Look, if you do not focus your intention on the things that will change your life, you are going to be in a situation where, unfortunately, it's kind of like, how you get a nice car, and or you get any car, like you be like, dang, there go my mama car, right? Or you, hey, there go my cousin car. Well, your brain will do that too. It will attach pictures, and that's why he said he put up things in a sticky board in the morning. Dog, that's so powerful, bro. Like, I'm talking about a practical thing, like putting something on your screensaver. You got to picture some girl that don't even really love you for real, right? I ain't gonna lie. Look, some of y'all got pictures of things in your phone that may be actually taking you back on your home screen. Your home screen of your brain, like literally your brain looks at something every day. For some of you, you're Christian, you read the Bible every day. For some of you, you are somebody who are just, you like positive stuff. So I'm saying, look, how can I get 1% better of what James just said, of putting something before me every day when I wake up? I don't care what's going on the outside. I got to control what's in here by making sure I'm focused on, just like that car example. If I see a green GMC that look just like my mama car, I'm going to think about my mama. Right? Your brain does the same thing when it comes to images. Let's set an image in our mind, and let's set this thing so clear that when somebody sees, right, that thing, whatever it is, he said he puts up image of a jet. He sees a jet. Now he's driving the jet now, right? And this ain't no magic woo-woo stuff. This is just the power of what? Getting 1% better every day and focusing your mind on seeing yourself on who you're going to be despite where you're at right now. So first of all, I just want to say, man, look, if you watching this, and you loving it, please like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, okay? We trying to get more people in here who going to drop game like James has dropped. But now, James, look, you gave us a lot about mindset. You talked about your story. You talked about getting 1% better when it comes to growing as a man, and you're successful, man. Just when we first had our first conversation, man, I was telling you, man, look, this is what I've been through, I'm going through. Can you help me with my credit? Bro, I'm scared, bro. Like literally, I bought a bitch because I like full transparency. Moved to Atlanta. Expensive is moving. I'm like, bro, talk about the credit stuff, bro. Like, okay, look, people need to know this stuff because they don't teach it in schools. Your parents don't know. They gonna pretend like they do. Some of y'all got stuff in your kid's name. You shouldn't even be doing that. You know who you are. You're wrong for that. But we are grateful that people like you exist. You study credit. You teach credit. You educate people on credit. If you follow him on social media, he's going up interviewing people, asking them about credit. And I think what you're doing is so powerful. So, okay, help me. I want free advice because I want some advice. I maxed out all my credit cards. You know, I'm in sales. I'm trying to sell high ticket services to speakers, coaches, all business owners who need video marketing services.
Change the word trying.
I am not trying. That's what I do. And I've been doing that for a long time. But here in Atlanta, right, the new market, as I'm getting clients, as people are coming to the door, is it hopeless for me? I know we just talked about not being hopeless, but is it all over? Because I've never been in this situation before. What advice would you give to someone like myself? Like, what would you say to that person who maxed out all their credit cards?
Well, I say the first thing is it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. A lot of people have this misconception that if you get something on your credit that it's just over for. Anything can be removed from your credit report. Like you can remove your name, you can remove your address from your credit report. If you could remove your name from your credit report, you think you can't remove a collection, a late payment, a charge off, a bankruptcy, student loans? Doesn't matter. All of it can be removed. No matter what situation it is, there has never been a person that has come to me and I'm like, oh yeah, I absolutely just can't help you at all. Like your stuff is just too bad. And it's crazy because like people come to me and they ask like, oh man, like is it over for me? Like I don't even know if you can fix this. And it's like, yeah, everything can be fixed. Now the amount of time is going to take.
Okay, see that's the thing.
Now the amount of time it might take depends on what's on the credit report.
Okay,
but I've seen people from like even like the low 300s go back up to the 700s.
There's people got 300 credit scores, bro.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was big, bro.
I've seen them.
Hey, I worked with them. My joint was bad. Hey, y'all, if you got 300, bro, I'm praying for y'all, man.
I'm praying for y'all,
dude. That's hard, bro. But so you've seen a large spectrum of credit scores. It sounds like in different situations. So my situation ain't that bad then.
I mean, your cars are maxed out. You probably do need to like pay them things down. But it's some ways around that, man. So right now the score is bad, most likely because of your utilization. Your utilization is 30% of your overall credit score. So that can knock down a whole bunch of points. But here's the thing with that though. There's different ways to get your utilization down because it's going off your revolving credit, which is your credit cards and such. If you get a loan, you can use the loan to pay off the actual credit cards and then your score can go back up. And then you don't have to really worry about making those payments. And then also if you have multiple cards, the thing that I'll be thinking about is like, well, at least me, I'm thinking if there's a bunch of things that's maxed out, I'm having a problem paying all of those. If I had a loan or something like that, one, if you pay everything off with the loan, then your utilization go back down to zero. Your score goes through the roof. But now you have this new loan. If the loan get messed up, now I ain't telling people to just go out there and get loans and mess up the loans. But like removing that one account versus having to remove 7 or 8 different credit cards. Yeah, you got a little bit more leverage there. But I mean, pay the debts. I'm not saying don't pay the debts, but like learn how to use them a lot smarter because also loans typically will have a lower interest rate than a credit card would. So learn how to utilize those things. And sometimes some people will be like, well, if my utilization is too high, I don't qualify for the loan. So that's when you can go and get trade lines. People like me sell trade lines. And for the people who don't know what a trade line is, it's basically you get the piggyback off of somebody else's credit. So for example, if I have a credit card, I can add you as an authorized user and my limit will also transfer to you and it's going by your overall utilization. So if it's going over your overall utilization, let's say you have, let's do simple math. You have $1,000 on your credit card, right? I have $1,000 on mine. Yours is maxed out. You at 100% utilization. You add mines to yours. Now you have 50% utilization if I have not used any of mines, right? So now you have 50% utilization. You need to get it below 30 for good, below 10% for excellent credit. So you get a trade line that's worth, let's say, 4,000. You got 5,000 total. I think you're at like 25% or something like that. I don't know what the full math is, but it drops you below that threshold to the point that your score is not getting worse at that point.
So your score get 1% better every day too. Hey, no, man, that's what's up, man.
Yeah, but the trick is after you actually get the trade line, then you can go get the loan, because sometimes you don't qualify for the loan because the utilization's too high. You get the trade line, then it'll knock your utilization lower. So now they'll see like, oh, your utilization is lower, so you can actually qualify for this loan, use the loan to pay off the credit cards, and then now you don't have any utilization on your own.
That low key was complicated, but it makes sense though.
Yeah, I try to make it simple.
It is. And you know, what I love about that is that although that is a lot of work, it still gives people a roadmap for how they could come out of that situation. Now, as he said, I do believe in being responsible. Please pay your bills if you can. Don't be playing around with your credit score, because it is, unfortunately, I think they say credit is king. I don't know if you've heard that phrase before. It's truly, you can't get an apartment with it. Some places you can't get a certain job without it. So it is important to make sure that part of your life is correct. But I will also say, when you're on the other side and your credit does get better, because talk about your credit score. So it was bad at one point. You fix it. Now you help other people fix theirs. What are some of the things we should look forward to in these new opportunities that we could potentially have if we get our credit right? Like on the other side of it, like what's the
infinite possibilities?
Like what can we do? Like,
okay, let me ask you this question. How much do you think is the maximum amount of money that you can get from a bank?
Honestly,
matter of fact, let's just go with credit in general. What do you think is the maximum amount that you can get in credit?
I don't even know, man. I feel like they give me, I'm a business owner. They may give me 100,000 if I come with a good business plan. I'm assuming, or if I'm assuming my credit's good. If I have a good business plan, I think they'll give me, I don't know, $50,000 to $100,000 if they feel like they'll get their money back. But I don't know.
Chase alone will give you $150,000 without any documentation.
That's a lie. They'll give you $150,000
if your credit's right and your business is structured properly. But here's the thing: when you talked about the maximum amount you can get, there's no limit.
There's no limit?
You can get unlimited credit.
That's why they got these processes so tight. They want that money on lock, bro.
I want you to really think about this.
Unlimited sounds like a hack, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie, bro.
Credit is the hack, bro. Credit is the hack.
That sounds like magic. Like, it's unlimited money.
Yes, it's unlimited money, bro. So look, think about this, right? How long would it take you to work to get, let's say, $50,000? The average American.
Okay, let's middle class, average American. We'll say a year.
We'll
say a year. Yeah.
All right, so a year. How long does it take you to save $50,000?
Ooh. Well, that same person, it might take them 5 years, depending on what they got going on, bunch of kids, cars, stuff.
All right, cool. You can go to the bank with good credit and get approved in like 5 minutes.
You blowing my mind, bro.
When you start to understand that you can get approved for $50,000 faster than you can save it and faster than your job would pay it, then you should worry about fixing your credit.
But see, most people, when they hear this, they're going to be like, man, that sounds like a scam, man. They ain't just giving people that much money. What you talking about, James?
Scams means still confused about money.
No, I'm confused about that scam. No, you're right, though. I agree. Because it sounds like what you're communicating with the acronym is that because I don't know enough about it, I just see everything as a scam. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like that's the thing, man. It's like the scam is not educating yourself. That's the real scam. You've already been scammed. You're poor. You broke,
bro.
You already scammed. Like I remember I was having a conversation with one of my mentors, and he was like, "Yeah, man, like people be so worried about things being a scam, but like you the broke person, you can't rob an empty bank."
Dang.
What we about to scam you out of? There's nothing there, and it's crazy because people will say that credit, trading, all these other different business endeavors are scams, but then they'll still fall for I'm gonna add a 0 to your Cash App. You falling for the quick money, but we telling you something gonna take some time, and you saying it's a scam.
That's real.
It's crazy.
That's actually real. Now, there are legitimate scams in this world, like you said. The guy who sent you the Cash App. Hey, can you send me? He knows. Hey, if you send me this, I'll send you back $100. No, you like, bro, I ain't sending you that, dog. Like you tripping, bro. But there is a difference between. I think what we're now really the question is risk tolerance. I think most people are just anti-risk. Can we both agree on that? And so if something is perceived as risky, they see it as a scam. But I actually think that your risk tolerance will go up when you're actually educated on that particular subject. So for instance, if you're a credit expert, you will, because you're educated, it's not a scam for you. Your risk is going to go down because of the fact that you know what you're getting into. Does that make sense? Or same thing with real estate. Real estate is a scam for you if you don't know nothing about real estate. All right. And so I think it's important to have people in your corner that know those things, or books, coaching, mentor, getting 1% better, learning these things. Because if you say you want to invest in real estate for real, and you ain't doing nothing to get 1% better, learning about the basics of real estate, are you low key? You the one scamming yourself. I actually agree with that in that sense. But James, I'm busy. James, how am I supposed to learn all this stuff about? And to my point, I'm just saying, learn the basics at least, so you're not scammed, because there are legitimate fraudulent scams out here.
So let me. This is the thing that I ask to anybody. If you know on the other side of this is $50,000, $100,000, why are you not acting like it?
But I'm busy, James.
Okay, cool. Busy doing what? Trying to go. You finna go try to get $20 an hour. You finna go watch somebody else win in life while you sit on the couch and lose in life. Like, why are you doing that opposed to doing the things that you know that's going to matter? You saying this is too hard, I ain't got no time. You didn't have time to go to that job either. You made time for it. You didn't have time for that girlfriend. You made time for it. You didn't have time to go out to eat. You made time for it. You're going to prioritize the things that you want to prioritize. And if you don't want to prioritize it, then you just not. My only question is, where's your priorities coming from? If I'm telling you that this is going to get you $50,000 to $150,000 on the other side of it, and you're still dragging your feet. It was one time I went live, and I was telling people like, man, other people have in their hands what you want to hold because you was too slow to move. Everybody's going after the same thing that you're going after. And now things are getting harder. Like, banks are like, oh yeah, it's a lot of more people that's getting access to this money. Let's start making the lending requirements harder. So it's like, the longer you wait, today's price is not tomorrow's price. Today's price is not tomorrow's price. So what price are you paying right now, and how long will you wait to start getting your things in order? Because if you keep waiting, wait till it's too late, credit is not unfixable. But the longer you wait, just think about on the other side of this, it's costing you every single day that you wait to fix your credit. Every single day. Because it's the knowledge that you don't know. Let's say, for example, you make $50,000 right now, right? Like $50,000 a year. Let's just say that, right? Let's say somebody makes $50,000 and their goal is to make $1 million, right? Okay. Matter of fact, let's just say 100,000. Let's just say the goal is 100,000. Every second that they spend not learning something new to get them to that 100,000 is costing them $50,000 a year.
That's a good perspective. And this is during my free time, because typically people have free time.
Yeah.
So I'm learning credit during my free time, and every minute that I'm not learning about the thing that could change my life. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Why are you not spending every day getting 1% better?
Yeah, because once you learn and actually just talking to you actually gave me the basics like of the credit score profile, and then once you start spending time with it, you start recognizing the pattern. It's kind of like when you know how all these people are watching these sports. Y'all be knowing the stats to all these different athletes, bro. Like I really be so shocked at how much we know about stuff that really ain't gonna help us make no money.
So,
and they be real they know my man's like every stat. Like it's really amazing what you can learn in your free time. That's really the reason why I brought that point up.
It's
and video games and all this other stuff. Which there's nothing wrong with these things. It's just a matter of, you talk about priority, right? And so that's why I just wanted to speak to that, because that is
that's a pet peeve of mine, because I be sitting there like, why do you know all this man's stats and you ain't got no stats of your own? You know how many points he dropped. You know how much money he makes. Yeah. You know what he's predicted to do in the future. And you don't even know what you're doing tomorrow. Why do you know so much about this other person and you don't know that much about yourself? Doesn't make sense. The same thing with these TV shows, these celebrities. You know what T.I. and them did last week? Yeah. You know what Lil Baby, the next Lil and the next Baby, you know what all they did.
Hey, there's a lot of Lils out here.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like you know, and the crazy part is like, you know, everything that happened in somebody else's relationship, you still struggling in yours.
Man, we laughing, but that's a sad reality, man. That's a sad reality.
Yeah. So that be the thing, man. It's a matter of prioritizing things and where you're going to put your priorities towards, right? And I think that a lot of people in today's age, I mean, let's just be honest, bro. We're brainwashed with consumption of entertainment. It used to be radio, then it was TV, now it's social media. And now, I mean, a combination of all the things. We're distracted by everything every single day. Everything is so convenient that I don't even think the world is really competitive no more. Everything is simple. The only thing that's really competitive now is business. The regular world ain't that competitive. Like, if you let's even take the dating market. If you're willing to go out there and just talk to a girl, you're probably ahead of like 90% of men nowadays, because in today's age, the people just swiping right. If you got the balls to actually go out there and talk to somebody, confidence through the roof. Like the same thing with like getting in shape, jobs. Like most people don't want to put in the work. You know, my first internship, I went through the interview process and they told me no. I said, give me 2 weeks. They said, for what? I said, let me just go and learn something and come back and try again, because they told me I didn't have the level of expertise. This was when I was in computer engineering.
That's crazy.
So that's when I got my first library card, was when I was in college. And I spent 2 weeks. I got my first library card. I went there and all I did, I read books from morning to night. No job, no. I just literally just got a stack of books and all I did was read the entire time for 2 weeks straight, right? Like, well, read and do push-ups and stuff like that. But I stayed in my room. I ate like hot Cheetos and pizza rolls. My diet wasn't good, but I read for 2 weeks. And then once they called me back for an interview, they said, you know, way more than what you did the first time, and they gave me the job. And I ain't gonna lie, it was fun too. It's Quicken Loans. Shout out to Quicken Loans, man. That's the only place that I ever worked that I actually liked. Shout out to Quicken Loans.
Quicken Loans. I call that monk mode, when you lock in and stay focused. And yeah, you eating the same thing every day, but at the end of the day, you gonna be eating real good later, you know? Yeah. So I think the principle that I hear is basically this thing called delayed gratification. And so I'm sure you heard of the marshmallow experiment before. Of
course.
And so they gave the kids, if you don't know, go look it up. But basically they followed these people after giving them marshmallow when they were little kids. And the kids who could wait for the marshmallow after a period of time and then eat it versus the kids who instantly ate the marshmallow and got the instant gratification, that dopamine hit. They followed those kids later and found out that they were more successful in life. And so I want to close with asking you this question. When it comes to delayed gratification, whether it's credit, whether it's getting better at life, whether it's whatever it is, getting 1% better, particularly in the concept of delayed gratification, like you touched on it, but like speak to that kid, like you said, who maybe was like you. They're coming from Detroit. I know a lot of kids like this, right? They're struggling. They're coming from the hoods of Chicago. They're hanging around people who are just like them right now. How can they start to separate themselves right now by practicing that practice right now, like of delayed gratification?
So if you want to get better at delayed gratification, I think the first thing that you really need to do is create a reward system within yourself. That was one thing, like another pet peeve of mine. Yeah. There's something called the deserve it factor, and you have to really think, do you deserve the things that you say? Everybody want to say, oh yeah, of course I deserve this and X, Y, and Z. Okay, cool. But let's be honest. Do you really deserve it? Do you really feel like, oh, I'm supposed to be a millionaire? Do you wake up and do what millionaires do? Are you waking up and grinding super hard? Do you know how to effectively communicate? Because sometimes the millionaires aren't the ones that's grinding, but they spent their time grinding and they learned how to teach other people how to do the same thing. Are you able to lead to that capacity? If not, then you don't deserve it. Like, I had to wake up and be honest with myself so many times, bro, where I'm like, I don't actually deserve this yet. Like, I want it, but do I deserve it?
That's good.
And create a reward system. Like, okay, cool. If you are going to watch TV, okay, cool. What are you going to do to deserve watching your TV? Like, there's a group of people. We just came from InvestFest.
Yeah, I love that.
Look at the name.
Yeah.
Earn your leisure. Earn your leisure.
That's good.
Go earn it. Like,
literally. Before
I used to watch TV and things like that, I'm like, all right, cool. I got to read. I want to watch TV. Let me at least read 15 minutes of it.
That's good, bro. That's get 1% better every day. Look, before you put on the game, before you out there hooping with your friends, like literally set yourself apart right now. Go wait 15 minutes and you say, I can't go out there and hoop with my boys until I do this. Like, that's practical. Reward yourself. But keep going, man, because I like that, man. I'm going to do that too, man. Real talk.
That's real, bro. That's what I used to do. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I used to love watching like anime, playing video games, things like that. And I tell myself like, all right, cool. Before I do that, I gotta read. I gotta knock out these push-ups. I gotta do these things that I said I was gonna do. Like, create a list of priorities. Just three things you need to knock out today. Because you may know what that is. Everybody had different steps in their life. At one point in time, it was like, all right, cool, go renew my license because it's about to get late and I ain't trying to pay a late fee. It could be like, all right, cool, I need to work out. It could be, hey, I need to read. It could be, I need to go knock out that homework, right? You know, it could be, I need to go really work on this business plan. I need to create this new offer. Whatever the thing is, do that before you go do. Because, I mean, let's be honest, man. A lot of us probably going to still go do the leisure anyway. You know what I'm saying? We can say that we're going to lock in the whole time. Well, I say that I was locked in the whole time. No, I ain't. That's, if I'm being real, like, I spent some time like, all right, cool, man. I ain't going to lie. I'm finna kick back. But for as many times as you can, work for it. Because when you actually do it, you enjoy it more versus feeling guilty. Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, I don't want people to feel like guilty when they actually enjoying their leisure. What they actually need to do is go out there, work for it, earn that actual leisure, and then when you get it, you get to enjoy it.
I think we'll end on that because really everything in this conversation has been about getting 1% better every day. And we talked about delayed gratification, focusing on the reticular activating system. We told a little bit about your story. But how can people follow you if they want to learn more about you? Do you have a YouTube channel? You got Instagram, Facebook? How can people get in touch with you?
You can find me everywhere at Iamjamesawilliams. So Iamjamesawilliams. That's my name. James A. Williams on all platforms.
Okay, good, man. Look, guys, as you know, we got a book release party happening September 19th. It's coming up soon. And man, James, man,
you know what? I'm gonna do something
excited,
special for
bro.
the people who we gotta find a way that we can actually do this. Figure out how we can do this. But for the people who actually get your book, I'll give them a discount on my credit repair services.
Okay, yeah, let's make it happen. Look, it's official like a referee's whistle. Because I trust you, James, and man, James, bro, just the conversation alone, it was just like I needed other people who saw the mindset that I had, who shared a similar experience, to know like, yo, it's not the things that's happening to you that's the problem. It's how you respond to it. And that's ultimately, when I look at my last name's Victor. That's what a victor means. It's not somebody who sits around and complains because woe is me, this happened to me. I grew up working on a farm. We were all this stuff happened to me. Well, I was first generation. No, it's like, yo, at some point, I gotta stop and say, well, what am I gonna do to change it? That's what get 1% better means. And so thank you so much for sharing your experience. Thank you so much for that collab, man. Look, we got to figure out how we're going to make that happen because I want people to get their credit 1% better too. And they need it, man. Like, we need it so bad. So thank you for your service. But most importantly, thank you for hanging out and watching this long video. Look, I promise you it's worth every penny to invest in yourself. So if you're listening to this, I know some of y'all be multitasking. You're probably washing dishes. You probably doing push-ups right now, working out in the gym. I celebrate you as you're getting 1% better. So as we have this book release party, look, it's going to be my birthday party that weekend. I'll be turning 27 that same weekend, right? We're going to be celebrating my life. But most importantly, James, we want to celebrate their lives too, your life too. Because as you get 1% better, we want to celebrate with you right there at the party. So it's going to be a live podcast party. We're going to have our mic set up. We're going to have some people talking about success and what it means to be successful. But most importantly, we're going to be signing books. We're going to be talking to you and asking you, yo, what are you doing to get 1% better? And that's what the book release party is going to be about. So I'm excited, bro, because I know that with the right information, you can change someone's situation. So stay tapped in with me, all right? We're going to have some amazing guests on this channel, and we're trying to create content that leaves this world at least 1% better than we found it. All right, y'all? We love you. We thank you. And until then, James, we'll see y'all later, all right? Peace.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
man, appreciate you, man.